Now we are on lesson 6, Elements and Principles of Art. Understanding and applying the building blocks of art, or the elements and principles of art, as what they often called, is what takes an artist from beginner to master. In order to understand, deeply critique, and practice your chosen art form, you need to know the key concepts that is that it is built upon it. Familiarity with arts, or with elements of art like color, inline, and principles of art like proportion, rhythm, and contrast, among others, is what gives artists the fluency. With your knowledge of this, you will always be able to find the joy and excitement that can surround art. And for art lovers, there is nothing more appealing than that. Okay, so now let's start with these elements of art. So, there is endless number of lines that you see in use in art. So these following lines are very essential in the art making. You could explore on lines to create some artistic artwork. Okay, aside from that, we have these kinds of lines. We have the horizontal lines. This one is correspond to the skyline. Does not curve or slope, moving left to right, or conversely, several straight lines can change. Just like this. And we also have the vertical lines. This is power, equilibrium, and consistency are shown by verticals. So this is the horizontal, and this is the vertical. We also have the diagonal lines appear as if they are increasing or dropping and have significant as well as adverse outcomes. So this is it, the diagonal lines. We also have the zigzag lines. They evoke dispute and uncertainty, are illustrated by zigzags. This one. And we also have the curved lines. These are curvilinear, sustainable, and ordinary, and it periodically change course. This one, some explorers with square lines. And we also have these actual lines. This one, the artist exhibits the lines in an art deliberately. The lines contribute to the success of the entire piece. We have this one, for the straight lines, we have the horizontal. We have we have horizontal again, we have vertical, we have diagonal, and we also have zigzag. And for the curvy lines, we could have waves and spiral. It's like this. Waves and spirals. Okay. Now let's have this implied lines. The artist employs implied lines to allow observers experience their presence in the artwork. Just like this. This is the defined lines, as you could see in this picture in this apple. So there's a line here to emphasize something. And for this one, implied lines. Okay. Now let's proceed to these elements of color. Colors are very useful. It attracts beauty. It adds beauty to the art or to the piece of work. So let's have this physical properties of color. We have U is defined by the color actually produced by the light spectrum. So this is it. Actually produced by the light spectrum. And then we have this physical properties of color. We have value. The softness or blackness of a color is referred to by this function. So we have this one, the low value up to the high value. So can observe low value, something that is dark, uh, the darkness, and then up to its high value, uh, it becomes lighter. There's something that softness. All right. Now we aside from value, we also have intensity or saturation. This is the exclusion of white, black, or gray adheres to natural hues. This one. Right. So we also have this additive and subtractive colors. Light additive colors, pigment colors are obtuse. It resulted in darkness by blending these colors. So this one, the additive colors, like you could form magenta. And then, right, you could form magenta uh, by adding colors to primary colors. Okay. And then you could have this subtractive color. Okay. So let's explore on color wheel. This one, as you know, this is very familiar to you, the color wheel. So we have here yellow. We have yellow, orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, 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 violet, violet, red, violet, red, red, orange, and orange. Okay, and aside from that, there's something in it. Okay, now let's have this primary colors. We have the primary colors red. We have red, blue, and green are referred to be primary colors. Names as such since the combination of any other color does not generate these colors. So they are the primary color because mm, this one, since the combination of any other color does not generate these colors. So that's why they are referred to be the primary colors. Okay, and then we have the secondary colors, the mixture of two primary colors in similar quantities that results from this color. So this is the combination of two primary colors and resulted to secondary color. And then we also have this intermediate colors, an integration of a primary and a secondary color will lead to these colors. So, this is the integration again of the primary and secondary colors and resulted to intermediate color. Like we have this red violet, we have red orange, we have blue violet, we have blue green, we have yellow green, we have yellow orange. Okay. Then the tertiary colors formed by joining any two secondary colors or by countering one color by incorporating its counterpart or opposing color inside the color wheel. So here it is. We have the vermilion combination red orange, and then we have this one magenta, red purple, we have violet, the blue purple, combination of blue and purple, and then we have this teal, the combination of blue and green, and we have this chartreuse, the combination of yellow and green. We have amber, the combination of yellow and orange. Okay, so now let's have the neutrals. A certain feature of any color in the continuum are not present in black, white, or gray. They demonstrate no consistency of color. So, the term neutral does not demonstrate any consistency of color. Okay. So we also have these warm colors, the red, orange, and yellow represents warm colors. So when put in a concentration, appear to progress. Okay, these are the warm colors. And then we have these cool colors with any color that includes blue, such as green, violet, and blue green. One more time, it includes blue, such as green, violet, and blue green. Thus are recognized as cool colors. So this one called colors. So earlier we have the warm colors, and here it is. We also have the cool colors. Okay. Now let's have these elements. The elements of shapes. We have, basically we have these shapes. We have square, we have circle, we have triangle, oval, rectangle, and heart. Okay, now let's have these kinds of shape. The geometric shapes 2D. A two-dimensional form is being described in geometry as a plane, regular, polygon, or a form with two dimensions, such as length and width. This one. Okay. We also have this geometric shapes in 3D, described as a largely and differentiated or an entity or form that has length, width, and height in three dimensions. So here it is, geometric shapes in 3D. Okay, so here's the 2D and here's the 3D. And then we also have these organic shapes, are unnatural and imprecise organic forms that can enable an artwork or layout look rawer and beautiful through utilizing organic shapes. Okay, so we have these organic shapes, swans. And then we have the biomorphic shapes. Unlike certain natural shapes, biomorphic shapes are also balanced and uneven. Just like this one, the biomorphic. Remember, the biomorphic shapes are also balanced and uneven. And we have this one, the positive. This one, elements of space. So this is very familiar to us. You often see this almost many times, just like this positive space and the negative space. You can observe that in positive space, it could just the way we see it is just something like a couplet. Then with this negative space, what we see how we see it is a two face facing each other or looking at each other. So color itself has something to do with this one. It's a shape itself likewise. Okay, now let's have the illusion of shape of space. This one, the overlapping, it reinforces the idea of objects close and far, helping the spectator to experience space in the design, just like this one. The overlapping reinforces the idea of objects close and far, helping the spectator to experience space in the design. Okay. This one, the relative size and linear perspective. Everyday objects that are large will be viewed as closer. So this one, uh, in picture taking, this looks nice. Many are using this one, this illusion of shape. This one is relative size and linear perspective because it really looks good on pictures. Okay, we also have these atmospheric perspectives, often referred as to environmental viewpoint. Atmosphere. So many are nature lover. So this could be a, this could be a hit to them. The atmospheric perspectives. Okay, and then we also have these elements of value. Value is the degree of lightness and darkness in an artwork, as what I have showed you earlier. So this is the low in value, and this is number nine is the highest in value. This number one is the lowest in value, and number nine is the highest in value. Okay, so we have the achromatic value. Laser beams do not glow uniformly on all objects as light drops on an object. Okay, we have this chromatic. This one, we have the elements of texture. Okay, we have the actual texture. This one applies to the authentic vibe and appearance of the object's form, typically a trait of three-dimensional masterpiece. So this is the actual texture. Okay, and we have this. The simulated texture corresponds to an element of the layer that appears legitimate but isn't. Okay, and we also have this abstract texture. The outcome is more focused on the artist's individual demands for ornate and artistic effect. This one, the abstract. And we have the invented texture. Created could still reflect anything that is possible. Typically, this concept is approach shown in actual art. Okay. Now let's have the elements of time and motion. The actual movement, recognized as kinesthetic or kinetic art. The artist integrates through motion. In advanced pieces, these are clearly reflected, but maybe with the support of natural environment like the flows of air and water. So it's the actual movement, something that portrays an actual movement. This one, the implied movement. So this one, a number of lines can be used uh, combined with certain level of continuity to illustrate suggested motion in art. So as you could observe when you look closer to it, it seems to be moving. The movements are implied here. Okay. Okay, now let's proceed to the elements of music. So we have the rhythm. Tempo determines how well the music is slower or faster. This is the rhythm. On the we also have this melody, indistinguishable from rhythm. It is known to hold the general music theme. The melody. I know you are very much familiar to this. We also have the harmony, notes taken at the similar moment or performed together is named as chord. And likewise, we have the texture, the connection of music style lines in music corresponds to this aspect. Music, which has more melodies known to have a denser sound. We also have dynamics, pertains to music's intensity of softness and loudness. And we have timbre corresponds towards the value of sound produced from an instrument or by a voice, also recognized as tone color. And we have the form applies to the structure in the production of musical occasions or concepts. Okay, we now hear the principles of arts. So we have the seven principles of art. We have balance, we have rhythm, we have contrast, movement, unity, emphasis, and pattern. Okay. First one, we have the balance. Symmetrical, formal balance as two equal parts of the pictorial plane of an artwork placed like mirror images of each other. So upon looking at this one, you could it seems to mirror itself. So this could be maybe in water because water clears. You could see over reflection in water, so it could form some symmetrical. Okay, we also have this asymmetrical informal balance, where elements on either side of a composition do not reflect one another, or when several smaller items on one side are balanced by a large item on the other side, or smaller items are placed further away from the center of the screen than larger items. So this is asymmetrical. So this is just like this. Okay. We have the balance. We have another one for balance. We have the radial symmetry. Balance where all elements radiate out from a center point in a circular fashion to all four quadrants of the shape's contrasting plane. So we have this one. I maybe you could like this. You like this radial symmetry. This one, and we have harmony. Likewise, this can be described as sameness, the belonging of one thing with another. That's why it's harmony, because it talks about something, sameness, belongingness with one another, just like this one. Okay. We also have proportion. This is the size relationship of forms and shapes. Good proportion causes a sense of unity and harmony. So it's important likewise to apply proportion, especially in taking pictures. So we must consider proportion to have a good shot. Okay. We have also have this one, dominance emphasis. This happens when the artist creates an area of the composition that is visually dominant and commands the viewer's attention. So upon looking at this one, so they were just all the same, the black ones. And then if you put some different in it, so if you put something different to them, because they were just quite the same. This one, and then this one, this highlights attentions, this uh This upon looking at that image, your attention would directly go to that white one, and that is the purpose of making it white, to create some emphasis. Okay, and in a picture taking, mm, sometimes we blur our background for ourselves or for a specific object on the picture to be the emphasis or to be given emphasis or dominance. Okay, and then we also have this variety, refers to a way of combining visual elements to achieve intricate and complex relationship. This one, variety. We have movement. A sense of movement can be created by diagonal or curvy lines, either real or implied, by edges, by the illusion of space, by repetition, by energetic mark making. Okay. And we have rhythm. This is the continuance. So, continuance, a flow or feeling of movement achieved by the repetition of regulated visual information. Okay, so that's all that ends the lesson 6. Okay, thank you so much.